Hello everyone, this is Mr. H again and welcome back to my YouTube channel. In this video, you will learn one of the methods in solving systems of linear equations, which is substitution method. So let's take a look at the first example. Alright, so for example number 1, we were given this system and we need to solve the system using substitution method. All right, so before we jump straight into solving, so in this method, literally from the name itself, substitution, so you will then be calculating for the value of the variable, and once you have the value of that variable, you will be substituting it or replacing the variable in another equation until you find the value of the x or the y that we're looking for. All right, so to better understand this concept, let's answer the first example. All right, so this system gave us two equations. So we have the first equation, which is 16y minus 9x minus 9 equals 0, written in general form. And the second one is 6x plus 16y equals 4. So first of all, what I need you to take note of is you need to look closely at each equation, because maybe we can reduce the equation to make the number smaller and stuff like that. So if you notice the first equation, so we can label this equation 1. If you notice equation 1, the coefficients are 16, 9, negative 9, negative 9. Definitely, looking at those values, we don't have, or we cannot divide them by a certain number, right, to make the number smaller, right? However, for the second one, if you notice that each coefficient can be divided by a certain number, which is 2. If we divide each term by 2, definitely the number will become smaller. So if the equation can be reduced, you can do that on set. All right? So we can divide each term by 2 and it will become, so 6x divided by 2, it will make it become 3x plus 16 divided by 2 is 8, so it will become 8y equals 4 divided by 2 is 2. All right, so this will be our equation 2. Okay, so you see the numbers are smaller now, the coefficients. All right, well, maybe you're questioning, are they the same? Definitely yes, because if you graph 6x plus 16y equals 4 and 3x plus 8y equals 2, it will give you the same line. All right, we will be using these two equations. All right, I need you to take note of two things. The first one is, so let me write something, a little side note on top. So two things. Number one, you need to decide which of the two equations do you want to use first. Okay, how do we choose? Now, by observation, by looking at the two equations, you can decide which equation to use. Normally, we pick the equation that is easier to manipulate or rearrange. By the way, I recommend that you watch the previous video I uploaded, which is about rearranging formulae. The second thing, after choosing the equation, I need you to decide which variable are you going to solve for first. So we only have two variables here. We have x and y. So you decide if you want to go for x first or you want to go for y first from the equation that you picked in step 1. All right, So those are the two major steps that I need you to take note of. But sometimes there are minor steps in between that you may deal with. All right, so have you decided on which equation to choose? All right, so by observation, I could see that the second equation is easier. Why? Because the numbers are smaller, right? You have 3, you have 8, and 2. All right, so let's use the second equation. All right, let me rewrite the second equation here. All right, so since we picked the second equation, then we need to decide which variable to solve. So let's solve for x from equation 2. So 3x will be equal to negative 8y plus 2. And then we need to solve x from here. So we divide all the terms by 3. And then we'll have x equals negative 8 over 3y plus 2 over 3. This is the value of x that we will be replacing or substituting to the first equation. Why the first equation? Because we got this value from the second one, right? Equation 1 is 16y minus 9x minus 9 equals 0. So from equation 1, we will replace the x variable here by whatever we got from here. So we copy 16y minus 9. So x will be replaced by negative 8 over 3y plus 2 over 3 minus 9 equals 0. Alright, you can see from here. Why did it become like this? Because that came from here. So that's substitution. So we replaced the variable x from the first equation by what we got from the second equation we pick from the beginning. And then we carry on simplifying this. So we copy 16y. So from here we need to distribute negative 9 times negative 8 over 3. So negative 9 times negative 8 is 72. Then we copy 3, and then y. Alright, next is negative 9 times 2 over 3. Negative 9 times positive 2 is negative 18 divided by 3. And then this we copy. Next is we simplified. Okay, we copy 16y plus here 72 divided by 3 is 24. 24y minus 18 divided by 3 is 6. Then copy minus 9 equals 0. So no fractions anymore. Alright, so it may seem a lot going on at the beginning, but as you go along the process, definitely it gets simpler, right? Alright, so from here you can see that we can combine like terms here. Okay, 16y plus 24y will be 40y. Negative 6 and negative 9 put together, it will become negative 15 equals 0. So 40y equals positive 15. So move negative 15 to the right, and we divide both sides by 40. So 40 divided by 40 is 1y or y. Therefore, the value is y equals 15 over 40. Simplified form is 3 over 8. We already found the first value, the first answer we need. Now, since we found the value of y already, then we need the value of x, right? So that means we're gonna go back to the second equation, because the second equation is 3x plus 8y equals 2, which is easier to manipulate, okay? Let me continue my solution here. All right, so we copy 3x plus 8. Then the y variable here will be replaced by the value that we got of y is 3 over 8. Copy equals 2. And then we simplify. So 3x, 8 times 3 over 8. Okay, we can see that 8 divided by 8 is 1. We cancel that out. So 1 times 3 is 3 equals 2. Then from here we can solve for x. So 3x equals 2. Then 3 will jump over, will become negative 3. So 3x equals 2 minus 3 is negative 1. We divide both sides by 3. Then x is equal to negative 1 over 3. Nice. So we already got the answer, but my next question is, how do we know if these values that we got are the right ones? So I'm gonna show you the checking part. Okay, let me write it down here. All right, so in order for us to know if the values of x and y that we got are correct, it should satisfy both equations. So let's check first for equation 1. So equation 1 is 16y minus 9x minus 9 equals 0. Then we need to substitute the value of x and y that we got to the equation. So 16, so y is 3 over 8 minus 9 times x is negative 1 over 3 minus 9 equals 0. And then we simplify. So 16 times 3 over 8 is 6. So negative 9 times negative 1 over 3 is plus 3. Then you got minus 9 equals 0. So 6 plus 3 is 9, minus 9 equals 0. So basically, you got 0 equals 0, which is true. So it satisfied the first equation, but it's not enough yet, because the rule here is the values of x and y must satisfy both equations. So that means it must be true for the second equation as well. All right? So it's true for the first one. Okay, let me erase this. All right, now for equation 2, which is 3x plus 8y equals 2. You can also use the original equation, 6x plus 16y equals 4, but then again, the numbers there are bigger, so might as well use the reduced one. All right, so same thing. We plug in the values of x and y to this equation and check if the equation is true. All right, so 3 times x is negative 1 over 3 plus 8 times 3 divided by 8 for y equals 2. So 3 times negative 1 over 3 is negative 1. Plus 8 times 3 divided by 8 is 3 equals 2. negative 1 plus 3 is 2 equals 2. That means it's true. All right, it's true for both equations. Then from here, we can simply make a conclusion. So our answer here, up here. So we can say that the solution is negative 1 over 3 and 3 over 8. So those values that we got actually make up the point of intersection. Because another method of solving is by graphical method and interpreting the answer that we got. So we got the value of x, which is negative 1 over 3, and the value of y is 3 over 8. If you graph the system, definitely those two lines will intersect at this point. This is the point of intersection. So tune in for a separate video for the graphical method. How do you find this question? So let me know by leaving a comment down below. Okay, so let's head on to the next example. So you guys feel free to pause the video. You can answer the question first and then do the checking afterwards. So by looking at the equations, both of them, that means we need to do something first before we jump straight into applying the substitution method. All right, so let's work on the first equation first. So for equation 1, we need to distribute this. So we'll have 8 plus 3 times x is 3x. 3 times y is 3y equals 7 plus x. Okay, so 3x is already on the left-hand side, so we just copy 3x, positive. However, plus x will jump over, that will become minus x. 3y is already here, so just copy plus 3y. And we separate the constant terms. So we're going to be writing this equation in standard form. Okay, standard form ax plus by equals to c as constant term. All right, so 7 stays on the right, so copy positive 7. However, positive 8 will jump over to the right, which will make it negative. Then we simplify. So 3x minus x is 2x. 3y copy equals 7 minus 8 is negative 1. Therefore, our equation 1 is this. All right. So equation 2. So 4x copy. 3x jumps over to the left-hand side, which will make it become 3x. Negative y stays on the left, copy. However, 3 positive will jump to the right-hand side, which will make it negative. And then we combine, so 4x minus 3x is x. We copy minus y, and then we copy minus 3. Right? So this is the final second equation. So we'll be using those two equations in applying the substitution method. First step, by looking at the two equations, I could see that the second equation is simpler, right? So we take the second equation. All right, and then from here, we can solve for x first. Okay, so we need to rearrange the equation. So x is on the left, it stays there, will be equal to negative y jumps over, will become positive. Then we copy negative 3. We need to use the first equation now to substitute the value, this value for x in equation 1. So at equation 1, which is 2x plus 3y equals -1, we will substitute the value of this to the variable x, right? So the value of x will be y minus 3. Then we simply copy the rest. So 3y we copy equals -1. All right, then we need to apply the distributive property here. So 2 times y, 2y. 2 times -3 is -6. Then we copy the rest plus 3y equals -1. And then from here we can combine like terms. So 2y and positive 3y can be put together, and it's going to be 5y equals, so we separate the constant terms. So -1 is already on the right hand side, so we just simply copy it. -6 jumps over to the right hand side, which will become +6. So it will have 5y equals -1 plus 6 is +5. Then we divide both sides by 5. And it's going to give us 5 divided by 5 is 1. So 1y, or y equals 1. So we got our first answer. All right, since we already found the first answer, which is y equals 1, then we go back to using equation 2. So from here, we substitute the value of y, which is equals to 1. So it will be x minus, so y will be replaced by 1 from here. And then equals -3. Then we simplify. X equals -3. We copy, stays on the right already. -1 jumps over, will become +1. So x is equal to -3 plus 1 is -2. That's the answer. To see if the values that we got are correct, so we check first for equation 1, which is 2x plus 3y equals -1. We plug in the value of x, which is -2, plus 3 times 1 equals -1. So we simplify. 2 times -2 is -4. So plus 3 times 1 is 3 equals -1. -4 plus 3 is -1 equals -1. So it's true. True for the first equation. Equation 2, which is x minus y equals -3. So x is -2 minus y is 1 equals -3. -2 plus -1 is -3 equals -3. So that's also true. Great. All right, since the two equations were satisfied by the values that we got, then we can write a conclusion from here. And therefore, the solution is -2, 1. So again, solution means that the two lines will intersect or meet at this point, -2, 1, which will be explained in a separate video about graphical method. So for your challenge question, get ready with your pen and paper and solve for this. Once you have the answer to this question, remember to leave a comment with your answer. And if you think that this video is helpful, let me know by leaving a comment, by liking this video, sharing this video, and if you haven't subscribed yet to my channel, please do so. It will be a great help. Once again, this is Mr. H, and thank you very much for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one.